this life is still not enough, at least for me personally. I know it might sound selfish or ungrateful or even pathetic perhaps for a lot of people, not normally, especially for all those normal people. but but hear me out, okay? Hear me out. Let's just hear me out. I think I even admit, I mean, look, look at all outside of my window. It's morning at 6 o'clock, right in the morning. It's nature, It's it's beautiful, right? It's beautiful. I mean, if I zoom in the video, you will be able to see, all the trees, and the flowers. There is a pink, the many all it seems colorful, right? But when I admit there are some beautiful things in life. There are some good things in life. I even admit that. But when you when you look deeper, when you think deeper, and if you really realize it a lot much more deeper, this life, for all its beauty and goodness and everything, right? It's still, how to say, um, it's still not enough in a sense, in the context of, it's just basically the same things. It's just basically the same things, or worse, or even worse. It's just the same. We're still trapped, sadly, unfortunately, yet we're still trapped within the same limitation, the same repetitions, the same problems, the same routines, the same the same predicaments, the same dilemma, life's dilemma, the same reality, you know like we cannot be we cannot even break free from the most basic reality. And then we have, I keep returning and always mentioning, in this YouTube channel, the reality versus imagination uh, problem, right? Humans consciousness problem, I would even say. It's actually a deeply existential and philosophical dilemma, conundrum, really humans dilemma. Reality versus imagination. It's where, our we can imagine so much more, so many unlimited possibilities, but then only just to be back to reality, trapped in this limited, very very limited reality, real world, real life. Okay, let me just take my handphone. See, look, I even admit, like all this nature, let me zoom in. See, you can, if I zoom in, you'll be able to see. Look at all that flowers and nature and everything, right? It's so beautiful, right? This is my finger. See? I mean, it's sad, It's sad. When I look at all of this, it's just sad, that again, like let me repeat, for all the goodness, for all life have good things, right? Maybe some of you or a lot of you would say, no, life has a lot of good things. Okay, fine. Granted, granted. To be fair, okay, yes, maybe life has many good things. I even admit, my life, I've already experienced some good things in my life too, back, especially back when I was still a lot much younger, and I treasure it. I'm just only human being. Hey, I'm just only human being. Of course I will treasure. I will treasure, you know all the good things in my life. Even still until now. But again, let me repeat. For all the good things in life, oh, of course, there are also bad things in life, right? Bad things in life. And then some people will say, well, yeah, life, oh, of course life has the good side and the bad side, the positive side and the negative side. But then, people say, just focus on the positive. You cannot, because, again, life has good and bad. Life has positive and negative. How can you how can you only focus on the positive when, life has also negative things? It's simple basic logic and rational. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, a genius. It doesn't even take a genius to, you know well, duh, just come, to just think about this. In fact, this life, it has so many problems. So many, even unnecessary, petty, trivial, mundane, boring, and senseless bullshits, nonsense, sorry to say, I'm just being very honest, right? Being real, I'm just being real. Hey, I mean, you of course, as a human being, right? We as human being, is it I think it's natural for us to, even me, I myself, as the one of the most pessimistic person, perhaps, I even admit, even I want life to be, you know just contain only the good parts, the beautiful part, and we don't want to, experience, if possible, if it's really possible, we all don't want to experience the pain, the painful parts, the suffering, the you know the sadness, the anger, the frustrations, all the negative, the bad things in life, right? And then some people will say, no, well, it's necessary, for growth, for self growth, for you to grow, but, hey, in reality, some pain and sufferings, it doesn't even build character. It doesn't even, uh, it doesn't make you grow. Some problems, some hardships, some pain and suffering, it just only broke people, destroy people even more, until there is nothing left anymore. You 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 know what I mean? I mean, we're so limited by so many, stupid problems, stupid unnecessary things, and you know basically just things that we don't like to do. We don't want to, but hey, there is no other way, right? you know like, there is no other way. Yeah, let me just put it this way again. I hope it doesn't fall in. Hold on a second. Yeah, back to the basic default mode. I think this the one again. Let me also say this. This is also important. I want to say. I think one of the saddest, one of the most, if you want to talk deeper, deeply, is maybe the most absurdities. I often talk also about absurdity. Life is absurd, right? I've discussed about absurdity, absurd in this YouTube channel. You can watch all my previous videos. I often really almost in every video I've talked about this word, this term, this phrase, absurd. Life is absurd, absurd. So one of the most absurd thing, and also the most irony, tragedy of life in life is, again, it's that we as human being, we we can have so many boundless exciting, how to say, imaginations, for lack of a better words, imagination, and then uh, also including ideas, dreams, you know um, visions, um, idealism, idealisms, and then even expectations, hopes, expectation, and whatever, but just only to be I've talked about this also in a lot of my previous videos, right? In all my videos, and then all it's just crushed, crushed down, crushed down. It's called crushed and destroyed, even crushed and broken, by this, sometimes harsh, cruel, cold reality. You know, reality is often disappointing. Even Thanos said that. We are so limited. We are so limited. By 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 so many things. Basically, there are limitations everywhere. There are constraints, there are boundaries that we cannot cross. And then some things are just impossible. Some things are just impossible, contrary to the popular opinion, right? The which is, I would call it, just empty platitudes, yeah? Which is, people, when they say, oh, you can be anything that you want, you can be anything you want to be, there is even a Queen song about that, a song from Queen, by the band Queen, right? Innuendo. Or you can dream, you can dream big, dream big. When you were a little kid, a little child, maybe your parents, or teachers, or people will say, hey, you have what's your dream, what do you want to become, what. Well, and then you grow up. We all grow up. We mature. We become mature. We are adults now. Adults, grown up adults, and we realize that no, no, that the harsh reality is that society, this human society, this world, this life, it entrap us, so again, for a lack of better words, it entrapping so many of us, we're trapped, we feel stuck and trapped, and to with with the same problems, with the same predicaments, that and limitations, and that we cannot be free, we cannot be free, we're not free, to be whatever we want to do or to be. That's bullshit, sorry, I'm just being real, real honest, okay? I'm just saying the truth, which is what this YouTube channel is all about, right? Truth, the reality, the harsh reality. Do I want it? Do I want it? Of course not. Of course I want, things to be, perfect, ideal, ideal, but that's not life, that's not what this world is all about, what this life is all about, or reality, Again, let me repeat again because this is important, It's kind of like a well, duh, Life has, even say, let's say, many good things. There are many good things in life, but, at the same time, don't forget, life has so many bad things too, Life has so many bad things too. So many bad things too. Hold on, let me check something, yeah. I'm opening up something. Okay, sorry about that. And also, another important thing that that I want to talk about in this video is, potentials, right? Like how many potentials, how many potentials, innate potentials, humans potential, let's say, or anything, basically, that never got realized, that never materialized, that never become reality, it just forever remain within the realms of potentiality, so many, like reality doesn't care, that's the thing, the universe, okay, the universe doesn't care. it it's the correct word is indifferent, indifferent, okay, indifferent. The universe is indifferent, okay. If we want to talk, deeply, philosophically, in philosophy term, you can just look it up, so many philosophy talks about this, the universe is indifferent, existence, this existence, it just is, it just simply is, just is. There is no explanation, it just is, right? Can you see a cat? Funny, right? Cute, right? See, life has good thing, maybe cat is one of them, if you like cats. If you love cats. But again, let me say, for all the many good things, it's still, this life, let me pick up my phone again. This life, it's still, let me zoom in again. It's still it's still, life with all the good things, it's still, why I say life is not enough, this life is still not enough, is because, we know, I know at least, I know that, life could be so much more than this, life, let me repeat again. I know that life could be so much more than this. That's the most frustrating thing, frustrating thing. The most even depressing thing, or like let's say we know I know, that I could be so much more than this, like, or you perhaps you know that you could be so much more than, what, what your reality is only allowing you to be, or limits you to be, constrain you, with so many bullshit sometimes, from this society, humans, people around you, or whatever, or even just things, circumstance, life circumstance, condition, situations, whatever, problems, okay, for example, responsibilities, that you have to do, you are forced, a lot of times you are even forced, forced pressure to do, to take care of things that, that you just hate to do, but you have no other choice, sometimes, or even oftentimes, there you we just have no choice, so it's bullshit, when people keep saying, oh no, you can always choose, life is, you know life is all about choices, people keep saying that, yeah, limited choices. Okay, limited choices, limited options, you know it's not like as if like we can be free, to be, oh, we can choose unlimited options, unlimited, decisions, no, that's not how life is, that's not, in life, in life, in life, you we are, we are only allowed, we are not free, we are not free, that's for sure, we are not free, contrary to popular opinion, okay, contrary to what most people say, you know I've talked about this also in my previous videos, I forgot the title, you can just look it up, you can just watch, I've talked about this, we're not free, no, we are not free, you know I think it's called, oh, I think I remember, I think it's titled one of the biggest problem in life, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, try to look, you know to watch it again, rewatch it again. Life has limitation, okay, life in reality, again, reality, right, realistically, even the word reality, realistic is already limiting you, limiting us, okay. Every time, whenever we say, whenever you say like, hey, be realistic, that's already limiting, okay, that's already limiting in itself, right? It's already limiting, it means when every time people say be realistic, that means, that simply means that no, you cannot do some things that are not realistic, okay, that are not realistic. You have to do things, certain things that are realistic, you know did you hear that? It's my stomach growling. I think I'm hungry. I haven't even talked about, like for example, economic, financial limitations, or which is a lot of people have, in this world. And then also health, health limitation, health problems, sickness, illness, disease, especially chronic disease, chronic illness, terminal illness, right? What else? Relationship, with other people also, have so many, limitations, right? You're limited basically by other people, you know and then what else? Even physics, the law of physics, our biology, it's limiting us, with all our five senses, we don't have full knowledge of everything, we are limited in knowledge, in capacity, you know we're so limited, and of course I know, I'm even aware, that it can actually be a beautiful thing, when you if we think deeply about it, like for example, because of limitation, because of how temporary everything is, then people often say, like, then we treasure it even more, we will treasure it even much more, this temporary, ephemeral, yeah, ephemeral, existence, life, right? Life, it's true, but at the same time it's depressing, when you know when you realize that, that everything, nothing lasts forever, everything will come to an end, everything will come to an end, you know everything good, yeah, even things, the good things, if it all come to an end, we all die, we all will die, we will die, you know the world will die, this, earth, planet earth, the sun, and even the universe. If you know about science, the astronomy, physics, hit that of universe, right? And also entropy, everything will just die, everything will be, I don't know if, how people, it's depressing, when you really think about it, deep when you think deeply about it, like, what is it all for, really, what is it all for, seriously? If nothing lasts forever, then what's the point, really, just to enjoy, carpe diem, seize the day, YOLO, you live only once, all these, optimistic, positive things. It's still not enough, it's still not enough. Again, it's still not enough for me, at least personally. For me personally, it's just absurd, it's just ridiculous, it just seems, it doesn't, it's senseless, in a way, senseless, the word, the phrase, the term senseless, it's all just senseless, okay, at senseless. Like, why life have to be like this, why life cannot be the other way around, why this life, this existence, if there is a god, or, creator, whoever, whatever create this universe, this existence, this life, whatever, like, this reality, like, why, why cannot it be the other way, the other way, why cannot it be other possibilities, I mean, of all possibilities, this is what we get, and then, we, again, let me repeat, reality versus imagination. That some of us, humans, we have some of us, some of the human being, some people, have even much more exciting imagination, brilliant imaginations, even far more than this, this reality, like, some people, at least for some people, we can imagine a lot more than this, than this. We can imagine so much more than this, but hey, we cannot, we have to go back to reality, wakey wakey, wake up, wake up, wake up, it's reality, it's reality, it's reality, right? Wake up to reality, no matter how good your dream is, soon you will have to go back to reality, right? I think there is a quote about that, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if it's from a movie, film, or what. I don't know what. Okay. Now that's depressing, right? That's the bad thing. That's the bad part. That's the bad part of life, Yeah. What else I want to talk in this video? I think that's the gist of it, basically. The gist of it. I think I've said everything important that I want to say. So I guess maybe I'll stop here. Okay, take care everyone. Thank you for watching or listening. If anyone watching this, or listening to this, please, I will be really deeply appreciated if you can, especially if you will comment on this video, anything. It can be anything, whether you agree or disagree, don't agree with me. You can just type it in the comment. Let's discuss about this, let's talk about it. you know I would really really love to, deeply appreciate any comments. Okay, and then, likes, subscribes, and everything. Okay, deeply deeply appreciate it. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. Take care. Have a nice day.